Alright guys, so today's video we're going to go ahead and take care of part of the cooling system that needs to be done. The initial plan when I started doing this was to use the factory Lexus radiator support or core support and figure out a way to graft it into the back of the truck. That was, in theory, sounded pretty good due to the fact that everything already fits. The upper mounts, the lower mounts, everything's there to make this thing fit. The one thing that kind of sucks though is that this thing is so flimsy. The sheet metal is, look I can bend it with my hands. So I'm a little concerned about putting the radiator in the back of the truck with this flimsy ass core support and having a problem with maybe the radiator core breaking or something stupid like that. Have the gasket in between the tank and the core start leaking. Because last thing you need is a coolant leak when you're at 6,500 feet and 30 miles away from town. Fixing a radiator is not exactly an easy thing to do, or if even possible. So I did some brainstorming and I have an idea that I'm going to take some of this metal that I had laying around that I got for free, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it up and make it to the same dimensions as this, and then I will fab up some lower mounts, and then luckily these upper mounts, they're just bolted in, so I can either ideally thread that and just use the bolt because there's not really that much to it, or worst case scenario I'll put a nut cert in it or weld a nut on the bottom of it if I can't get a nut cert. So anyhow, that's the plan, and we'll see how far we can get, and enjoy the video. Alright, so I did some measuring, and the overall width, I'm just going to kind of go with where the pinch welds were stock. That way I got a little bit of wiggle room side to side to get everything to fit properly. Since it's in the back of the truck, I can make this as big as I want, but I don't want to be ridiculous, so I figure I'll just go with these measurements since they're a known good product. So it looks like across the top of this thing is 31 inches, and height wise it is 17 and a half. So what my game plan is take this channel that I got. It's nicely folded over. I think it was some kind of a rack or something like that. So anyhow, I got it for free. Gosh, I don't know how long ago. I can't turn down free steel. That would just be ridiculous. So what the plan is that I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut the. I'm going to cut them to the right length, 31 and 31, and I'm going to cut this one into two 17.5 pieces. And essentially how it's going to work is this will be the side, this will be the top, and it'll slide right in there like that. The bolt holes will line up and everything. That way I can unbolt it if I need to, and worst case scenario, I'll plug weld it. Just depends on how it turns out and what it morphs into. This is obviously just a really quickie idea, and I know it'll be strong enough, and that's my biggest worry, is to make sure that it's strong enough. So I'm going to go ahead and measure everything out and cut it all up, and we'll see if we can just mock it up real quick, bolt it together, use some clamps and magnets, and see how it looks. As a side note, before I start cutting this thing up, I've made the executive decision that I'm not going to put 2JZ Toyota part 856 anymore. Most of you that watch my videos, you know what we're doing. So to make things a little more simple, that way you know what I'm doing, I'm going to try and incorporate that into the title. So this one will say upgrade cooling system or radiator repair, something like that. I'm going to try something a little different. The reason why I went with the part thingies, because a lot of the channels I watch, they do that, but they're YouTubers that make a lot of money and they can turn and burn a car pretty fast. I'll be like around 200 by the time I get this thing done. So just as a side note, I wanted to throw that out there that I'm going to start doing that. I know it'll make it a little more difficult to look through my series in the future if you want to look back, but it seems kind of redundant to keep naming it the same thing over and over and over again. So anyhow, let me know what you think. If you think I should keep going with the part 28, I can definitely do that. I have no problems with that. I'm just trying to experiment with different stuff. and I'm learning as I go. So anything you guys got from me, I greatly appreciate, because I really like doing these videos, and from the feedback I've gotten, it sounds like you guys like watching them. So anything that I can do to make these better and more enjoyable, I'm going to try and do. And anyhow, so let's cut some steel and have some fun. So now you can kind of see what I was talking about. This will be my main support, which should be the same size as that. We'll find out here in a moment. Probably just going to run bolts through here and then weld everything else. Hell, I'll probably weld that too. I'd weld stronger than a bolt. But anyhow, it seems pretty square. I think that'll work out a-okay. So I'm going to double check all my measurements and make sure I'm not a moron and that they match that, because there's no sense in welding it together if I measured wrong or cut wrong or got my head up my ass or whatever, you know, stuff happens. So anyhow, let's get that thing up here and we'll see what it looks like. Pretty flipping close. First I got that stupid things on the bottom. Shit, I just cut this off real fast. All right, it's time to take a time out. All right, just got her tacked into place. Seems like it's pretty square. All the joints seem to line up really good, so yeah, that's way better. Way better. Sweet. So I think next thing I'm going to do is I'll pop the radiator off and see how it lines up with this, and make sure everything's happy. Should be. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but just to check that box and make sure everything's all good. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I guess we'll finish weld this thing together as long as it's all happy and square. Fantastic. All right, so I got the radiator taken off the old core support, and I just got it sitting on the bench here. I still got to iron out some details, but as you can see, that's about what it's supposed to look like. I'll make some brackets down here on the bottom. There'll be like little cups to hold the rubber grommets to hold the bottom of the radiator on, but I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. That's pretty nice. I may even put some stretch metal over the front of that just to be careful. That way no big shit comes flying into my radiator. I don't think that'll happen due to where I'm going to put it, but I do have that big old sheet sitting there, so I may just do that as a precaution. Better safe than sorry, right? Oh, it looks like it's coming together rather nicely. So from this side you can hardly see it. Just a little bit on the outside. Once I paint that thing black, you'll never know it's there. You'll never know it was even done. But the cool part is it's going to be really super strong and really resilient. And it's a really thick material that I can use to make my mounts, to weld mounts to bolt it to the bed. That way I can make the whole thing removable for easy repairs. Or that'd be the simplest way to do it. So anyhow, that's what we got going on. Alright guys, that's all the time I have for today. We'll go ahead and hit this thing again tomorrow. Hopefully we can get this all finished welded in, get it mounted in the truck, and make everything all happy and put it where it's supposed to be. If you got a second, hit the like and subscribe button. It always helps my channel out if you could do that for me, and I greatly appreciate it. And have a great night, and we'll see you next time.